Hello everybody and welcome back. Today I've finally managed to get back onto the channel after locking myself out. That's why there was no final reviews. If you want the European final reviews, fair play to Sharks and Toulouse. They were the better teams. That's kind of all I can say. But we've got the final round of the URC, round 18, the last round from half of these teams. The road to the knockouts for the other half. And there's some absolutely massive games to talk about here. So let's just dive on in. I am starting to get dead excited. Glasgow shirts on because guess who's going to Scotstoun later? Let's go. So first off, we've got Leinster versus Connacht. Now Leinster has put out a third reserves team. Is it a smart move from them? Maybe. I mean, they will be hurting obviously after losing their third European final in a row. But Connacht have kind of died off towards the end of the season. They've not quite looked there for some reason. And I think that it's going to be a battle at the RDS. I mean, the return leg at the sports ground. If I'm getting my knowledge right, I believe Leinster won by a last minute try. Does that sound correct-ish? So yeah, this is going to be a really big game. Also for Leinster and Connacht. I mean, Connacht, it's a far-fetched that they qualify for the knockouts now anyway, but you know, there is still a mathematical chance. For Leinster, they are sitting third. Leinster know they've got Glasgow right on their back, who I'll get to in a second. But yeah, Leinster need to be careful because Glasgow could quite easily take third from them in the table. And also first and second still up for grabs. You know, the top four teams are only about 3 points between them, so every position there is up for grabs. But talking of Glasgow, they're at home to Zebra. Zebra dead last. Zebra just looking to try and not come 16th. But I think that's far-fetched as Glasgow are unbeaten at Scotstoun this season in the league. I know they lost in Europe once, but in the league they're unbeaten. And I believe Glasgow need to beat Zebra by 24 or more points more than Leinster beat Connacht, if that makes sense. So if Glasgow can close 24 points, and I think that's doable. I think Glasgow, unfortunately for Zebra, I think Glasgow will run in quite a few. And I believe they'll be aiming to try and get that 24 points different on Leinster. So yeah, I do believe Leinster will win, and Glasgow. I know I didn't get them properly in for the predictions. Next up, the next two games are kind of the big two for the remaining playoff places. You've got Stormers versus Lions, 5th versus 9th. Now Stormers have already qualified. However, you know, their place is up for grabs. Their 5th is up for grabs by 6th and 7th, so they will want a win to secure that. Lions need a win. Lions are 9th, level on points with both Edinburgh and Benetton in 7th and 8th. And I'll get to them in a minute, but they're playing each other. So Lions will look at that and go, if we can snag a couple of points, even just a couple of bonus points, chances are we'll beat out the loser of the Edinburgh Benetton game. So I do think Stormers will win, but I can see Lions getting a losing bonus point. Then going on to the Benetton Edinburgh game, 8th versus 7th. And it's practically a knockout before the knockouts. Because also you've got to think, with Sharks winning the Challenge Cup, only the top 7 go into the Champions Cup from the URC. So, you know, basically the winner of the Benetton Edinburgh game gets Champions Cup and guarantees playoffs. So it is kind of a massive shootout game. The loser needs to depend on the Lions Stormers. And the really good thing is, they're being played at the same time. All about 1 o'clock tomorrow. So that's really exciting. I do think Stormers will win, and I think Benetton will win, and I actually have a funny feeling, it's killing me to say, that Edinburgh are going to miss out on playoffs. I've said it. Edinburgh are going to miss out on playoffs. Again. Hopefully not, but... next up we've got Scarlets versus Dragons, a game that in terms of context doesn't really mean anything. The Welsh Shield isn't up for grabs anymore, Ospreys wrapped that up. Neither of them can really apart from maybe get a few points for pride, maybe a position. So yeah, I do think Scarlets will win that one, although it's being... Oh, that's right. It's Judgment Day in Wales, isn't it? So they're all being played at... I thought it'd be at the Principality, but they're not. At the Cardiff City Stadium. I thought it'd be at the Principality. Next up is Sharks versus Bulls. Again, Sharks won their European final. So in 2 years, South Africa already have more European silver than Scotland. That hurts to hear. Scotland have still made more finals though. But so they have actually got Champions Cup, so it's something out of a poor year. They've got a trophy, they've got Champions Cup next year. Bulls, they're in second. They'll be licking their lips at maybe trying to pit first from Munster. They'll be looking for a big win to just keep themselves in a decent playoff position. I do think the Bulls will win, because the Sharks, I wouldn't be surprised if the Sharks just almost give up. They won't give up, but you know, they've done all that they can. This is a nothing game for the Sharks, whereas the Bulls, you know, are gonna go out and try. This is kind of just a last hurrah for the Sharks. Next up we've got Munster versus Ulster. First versus sixth, and this is another big game for playoffs. I mean, Munster are sitting top of the table, but if they slip up, they could drop as far as fourth. So, that's a massive change in the opponents you're playing. You know, they'd go from probably playing a Benetton or an Edinburgh, probably playing a Stormers. You know, that's a big gap. And Ulster, they're sitting in sixth, so they'll want a win to maybe try and overtake the Stormers. And also not to drop behind the winner of the Edinburgh Benetton, who will be eyeing up that, going, might be a chance to climb a couple of places. But I do think Munster will get the job done at Thomond Park. And last but definitely not least, we've got Cardiff versus Ospreys. Again, the final game of the season, Judgment Day in Wales. Judgment Day is always tough to grasp, to be honest with you. I would probably more side with the Ospreys because they've been slightly more impressive this season, but Cardiff haven't been bad. I mean, they got a massive win against Sharks last time out. But yeah, I'm going to side with the Ospreys here. But yeah, that's the predictions. So just to run you back through, I'm going with Leinster to beat Connacht, Glasgow to beat Zebra, Stormers to beat Lions, Benetton to beat Edinburgh, Scarlets to beat Dragons, Bulls to beat Sharks, Munster to beat Ulster, and Ospreys to beat Cardiff. Let me know your thoughts and predictions. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I shall see you later.